It's been a while. Welcome back to the Baxter Street Boys. I'm your host, Cole Wilcox, joined as always by co-host Griffin Rudy. I almost said Jake Gordon. Jake Gordon is studying for the bar. He's brain is fried. He's grinding. I think he's 2 weeks away. Everybody wish him luck. So it's just going to be me and Griff riding the ship tonight. It's been a while. It's been a month, but man, football season's right around the corner. We can't wait to get back on. Got a lot to talk about. We had a certain fan base all in our comments. It's time to go right at them. All right, it's face to face. We're going right at them. We're going to talk a little bit about the AJC. Don't want to give them too much attention. Then we're going to start talking real football. Breaking down the offensive depth chart for the Dogs, what that's going to look like, and then of course we're going to get the gambling hour. It's going to be a jam-packed show. You need to be following us on Twitter, following us on TikTok. Griff's been killing it over there. It's been a long off season. Season's right around the corner. It's time to get cranking up. Let's do it, baby. Roll it, Griff.
And McAllister down the left field line.
Two have come in the paint. Oquendo.
Oh! Tomahawk.
Cable launches one to right field, and he knows it. A grand slam.
We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. We just crushed their face.
Front, snap, hold, kick. No! Good! No! Good! By the defense, 40, 30, they won't catch him. Go, Swift, into the end zone. Touchdown! The freshman just ran it back to Philadelphia. Throws near sideline, and it's intercepted. Intercepted. Keely Ringo at the 21. Off he goes. 40, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. Near sideline. Breaks the tackle. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. 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 Georgia.
I know I'm asking a lot, you guys, but hunker it down one more time.
All right, Griff. Let's just get right into this. Griff's going to screen share for those of you that are watching the podcast. For those of you listening, you're going to get the full scope. Don't worry about it. So I don't even know how the original tweet got brought up. I'm not going to lie to you. Anyway, I tweeted out something about Ryan Day. Pretty much, I'll just read the tweet if Griffin gets it pulled up. But the gist of it was Ryan Day was handed a Ferrari, and all he's done is just kept it on the road. He hasn't revved the engine. He hasn't cranked it up, see what he's got. He hasn't just won every street race he's in. All he's done is kept that Ferrari from breaking. He has not, drove it into greener pastures. He hasn't drove it across the Keys. He hasn't drove it down, the West Coast through San Diego, through all that. This dude's just been cruising in the middle of the country with his Ferrari. He hasn't done nothing. Well, Ohio State fans absolutely hated it. They went nuts. Like I didn't know that many people had us on their radar, Ohio State fans, that we interacted with a little bit for before the Peach Bowl. But it was madness, Griff, was it not?
Yeah, it was nuts.
Like it was just constant.
Here we go.
So what it said was Ryan Day was handed a team that had won a championship a few years prior and had consistently been in the playoffs. He's elevated them none. They have actually gotten worse. And I stand by that. Griff, scroll down a little bit in the comments. All right, here's where it started.
Yeah,
so this Ohio State fan comments, you obviously have no idea what he took over and how much he had to fix as soon as he stepped foot on campus in Columbus. That's outrageous.
It's absurd.
We have no idea what he had to fix. Ohio State has been the most consistent program, maybe in college football. Like have they ever been down?
Over the full history of college football. I can't remember really a time when they've been super down. I can't.
Notre Dame, you got Notre Dame, you have Ohio State. Those are two of the most just perennial powerhouses of college football, and it's because other than Michigan, Ohio State is the biggest brand in the North. Especially now, they can get whoever they want, right? Like Michigan has become back to power, and that's why Ohio State Michigan has been such a big rivalry because that's the only two teams above the Mason-Dixon line that's worth a flip in recruiting. They have the big brand, they have the campuses that compete with the SEC. Ohio State has everything they ever need. That is arguably the best job in college football. And this guy is telling me that I have no idea how much he had to fix when he took over. So I commented, delusional. Urban Meyer literally handed him Justin Fields with elite wide receivers, and that set off a bomb.
28 replies, right?
That comment has 28 replies. It has 7 quotes. So here's what their reasoning is. Their reasoning is Urban Meyer had resigned 2 months before Justin Fields committed, so he couldn't have possibly been involved in the recruitment, right? He couldn't have because he resigned, Griff. He resigned, so he wasn't a part of it at all. Even though he was a
Tate Martell guy. He was a Tate Martell guy, bro.
He stayed on staff of the school. Here he is sitting with Justin Fields at a football game. Here he is sitting beside Justin Fields at a basketball game. You're telling me that Justin Fields did not go to that guy and say, hey, Urban, you're national championship coach, 2 different programs. Can you tell me that Ryan Day is a good coach? And Urban Meyer loves Ryan Day. That was his guy. He's like, yes. Like, Justin – newsflash to all Ohio State fans. Griff, clip this. Newsflash to all Ohio State fans. Justin Fields needed Urban Meyer's stamp of approval on Ryan Day before he committed there. I promise you. He's not just going to go to Ohio State playing for a first-year head coach without Urban Meyer's stamp of approval. He needed that. So you can say whatever you want. But Urban Meyer literally resigned from Ohio State, told them, I want Ryan Day as the head coach if I leave. And then he brought him a quarterback and said, here, this is your guy. Oh, and on top of that, he's already got Chris Olave coming in. He's already got Garrett Wilson coming in. Like, what do you mean he had to fix? What do you have to fix? And then they're like, well, he's not getting blown out by Purdue. No, but he dang sure is getting blown out by Michigan. That's a fact. Urban Meyer never did that.
I thought it was crazy that comment never got brought up. We're talking about a guy, Ryan Day, who he has made the playoff. What? How many times have he made the playoff? Twice or
4.
3 times? 4. He's made the playoff 4 times. No, that playoff record is including it's including that championship game in 2020.
Yeah,
but
probably.
Regardless, doesn't matter. We're talking about a guy who's lost to Michigan 2 years in a row, one at home, getting absolutely smoked. That can't happen at Ohio State, and it hasn't happened for 10 years up to that point until Ryan Day took over. And I just don't know how you defend that.
There was a tweet that an Ohio State fan put with a straight face in the comments, and it was talking about it was like Urban Meyer's last 4 years, Ryan Day's first 4 years. And it was identical records, but all it said was average final ranking, and Ryan Day's was 1 spot ahead. It was Urban Meyer at 4.2, Ryan Day at 3.7. I was like, dude, all you did was just prove exactly what I tweeted y'all freaking out about. Ryan Day's a good coach. He's doing fine, right? But he hasn't elevated it at all. A lot of people could do what Ryan Day is doing so far at Ohio State. I think he recruits so well, he does some things so well that I feel like he is a very good coach. Don't get me wrong. But he has not taken that program and elevated it. But somehow Ohio State, he's convinced Ohio State fans that they're turning on Urban Meyer to defend this guy. They love him. They love him. When Brian Hartline leaves to take a head coaching job, I'm anxious to see how that recruiting stays up. Because that dude is probably the best positional recruiter in the country. The receivers he continues to get there, it's unbelievable. When he loses that guy, let's see what he's got. That's when it really starts.
Ryan Day, I think it says a lot. Ryan Day coached the best game that he's ever coached against Georgia, without a doubt. And I don't even want to chalk it all the way up to coaching, honestly, because C.J. Stroud had an absolute masterclass in that game. And he did things that we did not expect him to do, that we did not game plan for. And that really caught us off guard. Him being able to scramble and extend plays the way that he did and run, we were not prepared for that at all, and it showed. But, he still lost. So I just
I'm trying to find that comment to get the exact record. It was hilarious. It was identical records, and they were it was one place in front, and they were oh, see, look, he's elevated it.
I will say Ryan Day super crumbled in that game too. After that long C.J. Stroud run, and then he throws an incompletion or whatever, runs a pass play on the first down, and then the second down, runs it up the middle, gets stuffed for a 1 yard loss, and then chucks another one up on third down. He gave them no chance at the end of the game right there. They could have gotten more yards.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, that was a bad coaching move. But, dude, so the same guy that commented that first comment posted this video of TMZ Sports talking to Justin Fields. They've got a camera in his face as he's walking down the street. And he says, on Urban, he didn't recruit me at all. Coach Day recruited me. What's he going to say? Oh no, Coach Day didn't recruit me at all. The guy who's currently my head coach, he was. I didn't want to commit to him. I didn't believe in him. I needed to hear Urban. Like, what does that prove, dude? That doesn't prove anything. Just freaking. Anyway, Ohio State's gotten to the point. They're comfortably probably my second least favorite team behind Tennessee. At this point, like Florida's so bad. When Florida's bad, they're second. But when Florida's good, they're second.
Dude, Florida fans, I'll say recently I've been off the walls with them. I just I don't know how they have this much to say.
They have to, dude. They have to muster up something to get excited for football season.
Dude, they are gonna suck. Bad. But also they just say stuff that I'm like, what? I just don't know how you come at us right now, to be honest, either. We're the back-to-back national champions. You can't tell me anything.
Well, that's why, dude. They got to find something. I mean, all this madness did. I interacted with Ohio State fans for about 3 hours, just overtime, about 3 hours. And I was exhausted. They're relentless. They're literally Tennessee North. We even had Tennessee fans in the comments helping us out, dude. That was a first. That was a first.
It's because Tennessee fans are, I think a lot of them are big on SEC because they know that's the only way they're getting into the playoff because they're not beating us is if the conference looks strong and they've got one loss or two losses and everyone else does too. But, so that's really their only choice there.
But all this madness did was just remind me how awesome that Peach Bowl was, dude. It was absolutely just thrilling from the start. I mean, we got punched in the mouth over and over again, and then you had those big plays like Arian Smith just breaking that.
No,
everybody, dude,
I was about to talk about that play. Yes, I know what you're going to say.
Well, if the DB didn't fall down, Arian Smith broke him in half, dude.
I don't know why,
dude. The guy was trying to keep up with Arian Smith and fell. It wasn't like he just it wasn't like he was just on him and fell.
No, it's the craziest thing ever. They're like, oh, well, it took our DB falling down for y'all to come back. No, he didn't just fall down. He was beat. He was toasted. I mean, he got caught on his back. He got caught on the back of his foot, on his heels, and he had no way to recover. I mean,
literally
that's just what it is.
Their excuses are targeting.
Not targeting.
The DB fell down. DB fell down, and they missed a field goal. Well, we also missed a field goal. Your DB got cooked, and it was not targeted. And even if it was, Marvin Harrison had not caught a pass in the second half.
Also, on that play, we haven't talked about this since then, but what do they want Javon Bullard to do right there? The ball is in play.
That's not the point. They don't care about that.
But the ball is in play. They want him to just let him make a play on it.
Well, if they were playing, Michigan State, it's a touchdown because nobody's coming and hitting.
Exactly. That's why
that right there, Griff. The whole targeting issue is why they lose to Michigan. Is because they take on the personality of their head coach who has not elevated their program at all. Soft. That's targeting to them. That right there is the side of the game. That's why Michigan and Jim Harbaugh, who's just, he'll fist fight you to death if you want to. That guy's just a tough dude.
He's a weirdo, but he's a tough dude. He's tough. Yeah, I will say he's a weirdo, dude, but he's tough.
His team takes on the personality of him, and that's why they just absolutely bully Ohio State in the last few years, and they're going to bully them again this year. That's just how it is. And they're not going to sit there and cry, target. We don't hear Michigan fans make excuses about, the 2021 game. They're just we got whipped. I mean, I see Michigan fans in the comments all the time of different tweets talking about how good our defense was that game. They're just giving props. It's all right, these guys are physical.
I will say that was one of the better interactions with fan bases.
Michigan fans were great, honestly. Ohio State fans are, it's targeting. We win the game, but not targeting. No, you're just soft. Your coach is soft. Your program has elevated none since Urban Meyer left, and you're going to be a consistent second-rate team in the Big Ten. So that's all I got. That's Ohio State.
That's how it is, man.
Quickly, let's talk about the AJC.
Yeah, let's not get
Georgia finally clapped back. It was time.
Thank God.
There's a couple stories where it's just dude, just shut up.
This stuff is literally it's borderline lawful
yes
slander.
I wish Jake was on here because he's the law guy and he would know. But I don't see how what they're doing right now. The headline they put out with a paywall. That was the biggest thing. It's Georgia, whatever they said, rallies around sexual assault. and then you have to pay to read the article. So then, number one, even if you didn't have to pay to read the article, 90% of people on Twitter is not going to read it. They're just going to go straight to the comments. I knew George was cooked, but Kirby Smart. So whatever. But the fact they put it behind a paywall, that's just unprofessional. That's not journalism at all. And then the people in the comments just flood into it, hoping it's true. And when I say that, I'm not saying that these people hope that a young girl got sexually assaulted. That's out.
Yeah, no, nobody. It's absurd. Obviously,
what you want, what the other opposing fans want, is Kirby Smart not to have control. That's what they want. When I put that out on Twitter, you had Florida fans just flying in, trying to be just big, holy, Tim Tebow throwing fists at me. Oh, you think we want sexual assault? No, that's not what I said. No, I said you want there to be problems in the Georgia football program. Like, don't act like this isn't about football. You're not throwing up, arms about every sexual assault case you see on Twitter, but you're going to do it on this one. So explain that.
It kills me too watching all these Florida fans talk about that and act all righteous. Because there are several documentaries about your football team, guys, and not good ones. So,
dude, you have 100 kids on a team. Like, people are going to get in trouble, and kids are going to make bad decisions. And sexual assault, that's grounds for removal. Like you should be out of college football immediately if that's real. But like things are going to happen in your program, and it's up to you how you handle it and how you take care of it. But when you have one of the bigger media, bigger media empires in the area throwing up, headlines like that, I think Josh Payton hit on it. It's like, what are like recruits' parents thinking? Like, if my son goes to Georgia, he might not do anything wrong, and this, media outlet might just accuse him of something out of the blue, with no clapback,
with no facts, no evidence, nothing. No, they say they're like investigative reporters. No, they're not. Like, if everyone should go read the letter that UGA sent to the AJC. I read most of it, and dude, they come for that. The writer of that article, and sure. I honestly, if someone wrote that crap about me, I would feel not only like a piece of shit, but like an idiot too. Because I mean, Alan like Judd. That you're claiming to be a reporter, a writer, a truth teller, and they just absolutely dismantle everything you wrote in your entire article. Like,
right. And the two names they actually mentioned were Jamal Jarrett, who was never charged. Like, in the police report, you read the police report, and it's like, okay, like what's
that guy fabricated stuff about that story, about that situation. Yes. in the article.
And then the other one mentioned was Adam Anderson, who did not play another down of football after the news came out. He still has not been tried, number one. That's the main thing. He has not been tried, but we're going to put him on a poster of, Georgia rallies around sexual assault. Here's Adam Anderson. Dude hasn't been tried. If he's found guilty, he should be punished by all accounts of the law.
But the thing is, he never played another down for Georgia. He never played another down.
It was right after the Florida game. He had not played another game after 2020 Florida.
Jeremiah Holloman. People remember him?
He didn't play in the national championship. He didn't play anybody.
Yeah. Did people remember Jeremiah Holloman? I mean,
no, he must have been one of the 10 unnamed on there, Griff.
Yeah, exactly.
Unnamed.
They just it's unreal. It's you can't say that in like an article that's supposed to hold that kind of weight and not back it up. Like, exactly. You cannot do that. Especially like you're gonna I get it, like a little like what he's trying to do here, like he's trying to break a big story as a young reporter, whatever. These are college kids trying to make a name for themselves playing football and make it to the NFL. Like, and you're ruining their lives, like actively working to do that, working to ruin their lives without facts.
You can't, you're not even get a job, much less play football.
Yeah.
If your name gets thrown through, if you run through the mud like that, and in today's day and age, it feels like it's almost, guilty until proven innocent, especially with social media, where it's like, even with the Northwestern stuff, like clearly there were some wrongdoings going there, but it's like Northwestern themselves went through an investigation, didn't find anything, but all of a sudden a story comes out and they have Pat Fitzgerald fired 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
Like, it's stuff like that where it's like once it comes out social media, you win the opinion of the public, a decision has to be made. Like, at this point, you post an article with Adam Anderson and Jamal Jarrett in the front talking about sexual assault. Now, all of a sudden, like, you look up Jamal Jarrett, what's going to pop up first? That article. And that's, like you said, it's an article that holds a lot of weight, and you're doing life-altering things. Like, that's evil. That's legitimately evil. And unless it's like, just post the police report. Like, shout out, was it On3 that posted it?
I think so. I can't remember.
Jake. It was Jake. Hey, what's his last name? Anyway, shout out them. Like, that's real journalism. You go post police report so we can see actual facts and see what happened.
And, like, actually read it, like actually read the police report. And, I just don't know how people do that and feel okay about themselves.
Yeah,
like,
evil.
honestly.
It really is.
Like,
it's evil. One of the funniest things of the whole, nothing was funny about it, obviously, but one of the funniest things was there were Baylor fans in the comments like, oh, no, trust me, dude, we've seen this before. Like, Georgia fans have no idea what's coming. This is exactly what happened to us in 2005. Like, dude, you didn't even read the article. You have no idea what's going on. None. It's not at all have to do with whatever on earth went on at your program. That was disgusting. Like, relax, dude. That's not at all what's going on. Like, that's how you know right there that nobody read the article.
No, for
that
real.
Was wild. I saw like 4 or 5 Baylor people in the articles like comment saying the same thing. I'm like, dude, you need to relax. That's wild.
No,
anyway, on to more important things.
Yeah.
The football season's among us. I don't want to talk about Alan Judd anymore. Football season is among us, and the dogs are about to get cranked up. Like, it's that time where we're all itching. We're all wondering what's going on. I put out something asking, like, what's the biggest concerns on the team this year, and a lot of people said running backs, running back depth, stuff like that. And I think that's fair. And I think it's time to start getting down to the nitty-gritty of the roster. So today we're going to break down the offense, kind of preview what we hope it looks like, what we think the depth chart will be.
I have like a depth chart that someone made on here, and it seems like it's a pretty good outline to go by.
Yeah.
If we want
Who made it?
Ourlads.com.
Shout out Our Lads. Free ad for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad. I mean, looking on here, there's a few things that I would change.
So I guess let's just start depth chart, and then we can kind of move into, like, post-Monken life with Mike Bobo, how we expect the differences and stuff like that to look. Obviously, we start at the top position quarterback. It's Carson Beck.
It's Carson Beck. Yeah,
that's the worst kept secret of this past calendar year.
Unless something drastically changes, it's Carson Beck.
Nothing's going to change. Carson Beck is your starter, whether you like it or not. I don't know why you wouldn't like it. Like, this is one of those guys. It's like when Shockley played. Like, everyone pulled for Shockley because he's a guy who waited it out. Well, he could have left. He could have went somewhere else. And especially today's age with the transfer portal, Beck could have left and started for 100 other teams in college football. Like, he really could. He could have been Kentucky's starter for the last 3 years. He could have been, Ole Miss's starter the last 3 years. Like, well, Matt Corral's pretty good. But this guy is a dude who was super highly touted. Like, he went from the top of, like, think about your ego this. Like, you're 16, 17, 18 years old. You're a 5-star quarterback. You are, worshipped in your hometown. You're told how good you're going to be, NFL, blah, 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 who you want to play for one day.
Even coming into Georgia, too. Like, he was, we thought he was going to be a guy, like, soon.
So this guy goes from the top of the world, and he's now been a backup or third-string quarterback for the last 4 years. And he is absolutely just – you don't hear a peep from him. We haven't heard a peep from him, no drama whatsoever. Any update we ever heard about Carson Beck was good. Like, this dude's got a rocket arm. He's learning the playbook. Like, he's getting really good. He's improving a lot. Over and over and over and over again, we've heard that. And now he gets a chance to start. He's going to be one of the easier guys to pull for. It's like – he's kind of an unknown a little bit. We've seen flashes and just enough to get us excited. I remember G-Day last year when he came out and just absolutely threw a bomb to start the game. That was sick. Like, there's just something special about those guys that wait their turn. And whether he's playing for Georgia or not, like I'm pulling for Carson Beck. I really am.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be
too.
awesome. I'm excited to see what he can do. He's your quarterback.
He is going to be playing for Georgia, and it's going to be awesome.
Yes, that does help me pull for him. No doubt about it. Some people might say, well, what about Joe Milton? I don't have anything against Joe Milton at all, except the fact he wears Tennessee orange. Like
I have everything against
trust
him.
me, I would pull against my brother if he wore that uniform.
No, that's a fact. I don't think people get. Do people get it yet? Like how much we hate them?
I would after that week with them. I would hope so. If you were on our live stream that week, that was special.
Like guys, if my own family was playing for Tennessee, I promised you I would not pull for them. I would pull for Georgia over them. I would pull for
Vince
Kentucky
Dooley himself
over them.
didn't pull for him when his son was coaching. You remember that? They asked him about it, and Mom's like, I got to pull for my son. And they asked Vince, and he's just like,
Dude, goat stuff, man. Rest in peace, Vince.
Yes. Champion. Forever a dog. All right, so let's move into the position that a lot of people have a lot of concerns about. It's the running back position. We're kind of stockpiled, but I do understand. This is probably the first year we're going into the season where it's like, do we have a dude?
I see where people are concerned because last year clearly Kenny was going to be a dude, then you got Kendall.
I'm going to miss the crap out of Kenny.
I mean, heck yeah. And
he's awesome.
The year before you had James Cook and Zamir White. I mean, Zamir White always looked good throughout his Georgia career. I was always excited about him, and then James Cook really took it to the next level.
Todd Monken on
that last year. Yeah, he did. And then, but now you got Kendall Milton, who's a guy who everyone was super excited about going into.
Oh, he was one of our highest rated recruiting running backs in a long time.
Exactly. And then, he gets hurt a little bit, struggles through some injuries, and now people aren't sure. But I'll tell you right now, he was playing the best football that he's ever played at the University of Georgia at the end of last year. And I think that this year he comes out and balls. I think he's going to be I think he's a 1,000-yard rusher. I think with this backfield he could be.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of bodies, but I do think that, you have your Dejon Edwards there, who we know we're going to get out of that guy. He's going to play his balls off. He's going to run the rock hard. But there comes a point, if Kendall Milton is right, if he's healthy, that dude is so talented. It's almost like the Najee Harris situation at Bama. I'm not saying Kendall Milton is Najee, but it was Bama had a lot of backs, but Najee was just so much more talented than them that it's all right, he's staying on the field. We can't pull him off. Bama's been known to rotate backs a lot, but when Najee was there, it's keep that dude on the field because he's that talented. Kendall Milton is the most talented guy in that running back room. I'm not scared to say that. And if he's right, that guy is going to assert himself as one of the better running backs in the SEC. I'm just telling you.
I don't think what we should be worried about is what we have at running back. I think the bigger question is who's going to be the Kendall or the Kenny McIntosh or James Cook for this year? Who's going to catch the ball out of the backfield for us? Because that I don't really have an answer to right now. I don't think Dejon Edwards is the guy for that at all.
He showed some flashes at the end of last year. It's kind of like they were trying to transition him into that role. They leave him on for the second-team offense and let him catch passes. So
yeah, I mean,
But I agree. You can't replace what Kenny can do or James Cook can do. That. I mean, they were literally wide receivers coming out of that.
Yeah, Dejon just doesn't fit that mold as well as they do. And I do think our offense is going to look a little different this year with Mike Bobo. I mean, just thinking back to what it looked like before, Todd Monken and when Mike Bobo was at UGA, I feel like this – I don't know. Todd Monken – I mean,
I think
Mike
it's going to look a lot more Monken-esque than the old Bobo offense.
I think so too. But also I think that Mike Bobo knows how to showcase a running back as well. I mean, he did it quite a few times when he was at UGA. So
with some pretty untalented guys too.
Yeah. I mean, he had J.J. Green and Brendan Douglas looking like they were good SEC
Was he still there then?
I think so. 2015?
He definitely coached J.J. Green. But
that was 2013, actually. Yeah, he was there. That was because Todd Gurley and Keith Marshall both got hurt. Todd Gurley sprained both his ankles in that LSU game, and then Keith Marshall tore his ACL at Tennessee.
So you also have the sophomore running backs. You have Andrew Paul, and you have
Branson Robinson,
Branson
and then
Robinson.
you have Roderick Robinson coming in as a freshman, who looks like a dude.
Right. So I don't think it's a lack of talent, and the depth there is clear. I think what Georgia fans are rightly concerned about is a lot of those guys have just not gotten that much playing time. We don't really know. It's kind of an unknown, and I just don't really worry about the running back position at Georgia because it's just churned out guys.
It always works out, guys.
And maybe I'm taking that for granted just because we've had so many guys. But I mean, how can you not trust Dale McGee? Like, that guy's a dude. That guy is a dude's dude. So if there's anybody I trust to handle that position group really well, it's Dale McGee.
And then here's the thing, too, about, you may have questions about running backs, but one thing that we don't have near as many questions about this year as we did in past years, wide receiver, because we are freaking loaded.
And that's a good position to be in. That is a good – it's been a long time since we can say that, a really long time since we can say that. It was literally as soon as last year where Kirby Smart went to SEC Media Days on the presser and pretty much told everyone we're trying to find a good wide receiver too.
Yeah. It's like, Lad's our best guy right now.
And you can take that, and I think some guys took that as a challenge, clearly, because it worked out. But it's like, A.D. Mitchell's hurt. No, A.D. Mitchell's the one. You have Lad. Like, who's after that? Marcus Rosemy Jack Saint said, I am. I'm pretty freaking good.
He stepped up, and I think he's going to step up again.
Arian Smith, when he's healthy, I am. Dylan Bell, I am. Like, those guys stepped up. They answered
and then you add Dominique Lovett and Ra Thomas, two ultra-talented wide receivers to the fold.
Yeah.
I mean.
I would say starting the year, I think our top three guys, I think it's Lovett, I think it's Ladd, and I think it's Marcus Rosemy Jack Saint.
Yep.
And then the guys you're going to see a lot of, you're going to see a lot of Ra. If Arian Smith's healthy, we know what we got out of him. He's going to take a top off the defense. Dylan Bell, they want him to be a stud.
I think Dylan Bell might have to sit back a little this year and wait his turn a little bit, just because those five guys I think we'll see most of.
Potentially. There's always injuries, man. You hate to plan for it and you hate to talk about it, but receiver's a tough position, especially at the University of Georgia. You got to be physical. You have to be willing to block. That's why Marcus Rosemy Jack Saint is going to be on the field a lot, because that dude gets after it in run blocking. They love it.
Any freshman wide receivers you think see the field at all this year? Or I don't know if those guys are going to have a chance to really step up this year, but
I'm kind of getting the recruiting classes mixed up right now with this one, 23.
CJ Smith is a redshirt freshman, and then you got Yazid Haynes.
They like him a lot. There's been glowing reviews out of him at camp. Apparently, he can just fly. Yeah, he can just fly. I definitely think they're going to see the field. We always.
Well, we're going to be beating the dog shit.
There's going to be plenty of times to pop, because we're going to be absolutely blowing teams out for a lot of the season. I'll tell you who I was really excited about. Oh crap! I'm the wrong one. Is it Tyler Williams?
I don't recognize that name, but
yeah, Tyler Williams out of Lakeland, Florida.
Oh yeah.
6'3" wide receiver, 6'3". He's a big wide receiver. I get excited for big wide receivers. I'm old school. I know the mold is going to the 6 foot 6'1" guys, but I like Tyler Williams a lot. I think he's got really good footwork on the outside. He's tall. He's physical. So I think he's a guy we don't have that many of those type of molds. We have Marcus Rosemy Jack Saint. Ra-Ra's, I think he's 6'2". So Tyler Williams is the guy he can slide into that Y position, be kind of a big threat on the back on the other side. I think that's a guy who can play, and you already mentioned Yazid Haynes. So yeah, I like both of those guys to see the field a little bit. I don't know what we got from Washington yet, but I'll be interested to see.
And then, also adding to the guys that you have as weapons, you have the deepest tight end room in the history of college football.
You have the weapon, Brock Bowers.
You have Brock Bowers, but then you've also got a guy right behind him who not nearly as good. Let's, but
we don't know.
But he is a monster. Okay, I think Oscar Delp takes a step this year too. I mean,
He's gonna have to. He don't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be awesome. And then you've got Sperlin and Lawson Lucky.
Yeah.
One of them got injured recently, but I can't remember which one. But they're talented guys too. So,
dude, yeah, like you. There. What do you say about Bowers? Like, he's the best player in college football. He's the best tight end in college football history. Like, the things he does on a football field is mesmerizing to watch. I'll say it because, like, and people are gonna hate it for some reason. Like, maybe it's just a generational thing. But if this dude, even if he does it, even if we don't win the title this year and he does what he's been doing the last 3 years, he's the best player to ever wear a Georgia uniform.
Wow.
He is. Like, he's been the best player on our team.
You're right. I mean, you're right. I see what you're saying. That's just like hearing that statement for, out loud.
Dude, he was our go-to. He's been our go-to guy in the biggest games of the year.
No, I agree.
And we've played the biggest games in Georgia history the last 2 years. He's been our best player. He's going to be our best player this year. He's going to be a top 10 pick at tight end. Like, he's a generational type talent. He doesn't say a word. He just absolutely goes about his business. He hasn't missed a game, knock on wood. Like, this dude, he's awesome. He's the best. He's the best. I love this dude.
Here's the thing too. Like, people said, like, I posted that jersey TikTok. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It was pretty funny. I put all of the Georgia jerseys that I put all the Georgia jerseys that I had on in my closet. I might have missed like a couple that I don't have here at this place, but I put them all on and took them off one by one. I think I had like 13 on, so it's pretty funny. But when I got to Brock Bowers, I said the best tight end in college football history. There were some people in the comments saying, best tight end in college. Who do you think is? Because go watch a football game. These nerds love looking at the numbers too. He's got the best numbers out of any college football tight end in the first 2 years ever.
The absolute best is when Notre Dame fans chirp in and like, well, Meyer had better stats last year. And he literally did. Like, you can go. How do you say something that you can look up, that you can easily rebut? Well, he had better stats. No, he didn't.
You're wrong.
But yeah, you have Brock Bowers. I'm super excited about Oscar Depp, like you said. He's going to slide into that. He's not going to slide into the Darnell Washington role. It's going to look a little different. Like, you can't replace what he did on the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. But Oscar Depp might be a little more dynamic with the ball in his hands. So, that just adds another weapon. And then you got the big nasties up front. Go through what that website had as their depth chart. I kind of have in mind what I have.
Yeah.
What I want to see, I guess. I'd like to see what somebody else does first.
I think this looks a little different than what I was expecting, but I don't hate it. At left tackle, they got Ernest Green III. Left guard, Xavier Truss. Center, Cedric Van Pran, obviously. Right guard, Tate Ratledge. Right tackle, Amarius Mims.
See, I have heard that they'd like to leave Amarius Mims at right tackle. Whether they do or not, I don't know. Maybe I think he's just more comfortable over there. He can, left tackle, right tackle. I think this guy's a first round pick. I really do. He's
I agree.
That might have been Kirby's best recruiting job, is getting him back from the portal. He looked like an FSU lock, and all of a sudden we just get him back. That was sick. I'm excited about him. Then you have the stability with Tate, with Truss, and with Cedric Van Pran. Like, that's huge. That is huge. And then, the other tackle position is the big one. I've heard a lot of buzz on Ernest Green lately. A lot of buzz. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know a lot about the offensive linemen we have behind, the guys that played last year that I've seen.
Yeah.
But Stacey Searles is proven to be a dude. What we've done recruiting last week alone, it's got to be one of the best offensive line recruiting weeks of all time in any team. It was nuts. We literally got a 6'7" giant every single day of last week. It felt like.
And then not only do you have those guys who you're completely confident in, as the starters, but you've got guys behind them who are super talented too. You got Austin Blask, Micah Morris, Dylan Fairchild, Chad Lindbergh, guys that were super highly talented out of high school, have spent most of them a couple years, some of them 1 year, in the system, preparing, getting big, lifting weights with the dogs. Like, they're ready too. I mean,
and last year was literally one of the first years I've seen any team do this. Like the way we rotated offensive linemen, almost like we do defensive linemen. I loved it though.
Yeah.
And I
keeps
know
you fresh for sure.
I know that like offensive linemen will tell you like they like to work with the same 5 guys. They like that stability and stuff. But like there's just so much talent, and playing fresh is just such a big deal, especially if you got an offense that's moving fast. Those are some big nasties up there, man. You got to let them get some water. You got to let them get some oxygen. And if you have that many talented guys, like play them. Like if there's no let up from 1 to 2, the only difference is 2 is fresher than 1. Like that's such a great problem to have. Too many guys, so you can't get them all on the field at once. But like the way they rotated last year, like we got to see so many different guys. It was fun. Like I enjoyed watching that, and I would expect that to continue.
Yeah, and a big part of our offense, is wearing defenses down and making long drives, and just putting it on them, just running the clock out. Kirby Smart Death March, it's patented. If you can bring in a fresh couple of linemen that are just as good as the ones you had in to a tired defense, they're going to dominate. They're going to.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we kind of hit on it earlier, just kind of what we expect the offense to look like. I really feel like it's going to look a lot like Monkins. Like Bobo sat under there for 2 years. Like he watched it. He knows the ropes. And they're talking about he called some of the plays in the Natty. Like this is the guy who knows offense, man. Like you can say whatever you want about Bobo. A lot of people blame him for a lot of stuff. He knows offense. Kirby would not hire him if he didn't trust him. I promise you that. Like Kirby's not just going to hire his buddy just to hire his buddy. Like this dude is an absolute winner. I'm excited to see it. I really am.
Give me a bold prediction for the offense. I have one ready if you want to think of one real quick too.
Prediction for the offense?
Yeah, just a bold prediction. It can be anything. I have one that's pretty wild, and
it's bold.
Beck those for 4,000. I think that's bold, but also I guess we haven't had a quarterback do that except for sets of minutes. So yeah, it's pretty bold, but I think he does it too. I also think that we have 1,000-yard rusher and an 1,000-yard receiver.
Oh, we're gonna be putting up points, huh?
I mean, I don't see
who are they?
Kendall Milton, Dominique Lovett.
Oh, Lovett going for 1K, huh?
I love Dominique Lovett. I think he's a beast. What he did to our defense in that Missouri game, I think he can do that to anyone. I trust him. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I'm all in. I mean, I love it. I hope they both happen. All right.
Let's get these odds.
That's the Georgia offense. We're all excited for it. We're about to see it on full display here very, very soon. Let's move into the last portion of the show, the gambling talk. As always, we're trying to make y'all some money. We already hit the ACC. We already hit the SEC. Now we have this conference, the Big Ten. We have win totals here. We have some odds to win the conference. Also, we're just kind of roll through those. For those of you listening, you don't have to see the graphic because we're going to break it down. Obviously, Michigan, Ohio State, the favorites. They're both at 2.5 wins, plus 165 to win the conference. Are you touching either of those?
Maybe Michigan
to win the conference.
Not to win the conference.
It's too low.
Maybe the win total. I kind of like over 10.5 for them. I think the 2 games on their schedule, obviously, that they really got to look at are Ohio State and Penn State. I think Penn State's going to be really good. But
that's where I wanted to go. So I don't think I'm touching either.
But they get Ohio State at home this year, and I don't see any reason for Ohio State being able to go in there and beat them based on what we've seen the past 2 years.
They'll whack them again.
So I think 10.5 is a very – I don't think that's a bad play at all for Michigan. Ohio State, I don't know. I think – where do they play Penn State at? Do they play in Penn State or no?
I'm not sure. I think Penn State usually splits those two. I don't think they ever give them the same.
Okay, that would make sense.
But, yeah, I love Penn State this year. I really do. I think they have the most talented quarterback they've had there in a long time. I love their running back.
Outside of Trace McSorley, let's chill out. Trace McSorley's the go.
No, I mean, this Drew, all are supposed to be just the absolute truth. Penn State is plus 600 to win the conference and over 9.5. I like both of those. Like, I think I hit that win total. They're not going to lose to any team outside of those top two, and I think they at least split. Like plus 600, it's decent odds. I wish it was slightly higher.
Plus 600 is the best you're going to get here, the most value you're going to get, because none of these other teams are winning it.
Well, hold that thought.
No way you think Wisconsin.
I don't think they're going to win, but I don't think the odds are terrible because some team has to come out of that other side. Like, the other side is trash. So then you have to win one game to win the conference. You have to win one title game to win the conference.
I mean, I don't hate
Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a completely unknown.
What's the Tanner Mordecai from SMU? That's going to be their quarterback.
They are a complete unknown because you're thinking of Wisconsin, just the big uglies up front. They're going to pound the rock, and they're going to.
Braylon Allen too is a beast.
We're going to see Wisconsin, a modern Wisconsin this year. They're going to look like a 21st century football team, and that's going to blow my mind to see. It's going to take forever to figure out. Wait, Wisconsin just threw the ball 30 times this game? Like, that's going to happen, and you're going to be like, what's going on? They're an unknown, and plus 700 odds, I don't hate. Iowa, I wouldn't touch that with – I might take their under. Like, I really might take their under. 8.5. Over under 8.5 Iowa, I'm taking their under.
Oh, you're talking about Iowa now?
Yeah.
Wisconsin, what do you think about their over-under?
I kind of like it.
I have to look at their schedule, though. I have to see who they have on their schedule.
If you ask me how many wins they'd have, I'd say 8 or 9. So 8.5 is their win total.
Yeah,
Iowa, Iowa, it got to the point where I wouldn't watch their games.
No, yeah, and they're not getting any better with Cade McNamara. So,
no.
Yeah, I like under 8 wins there too. I don't know why they have the 5th best odds. Well, I guess I do because all these other teams are garbage.
Well, it's just because somebody has to come out of the other side. So,
and look at the rest of these teams, bro. It goes. I mean,
it's so bad.
The odds
sucks.
I just want people to know the odds are not like this in any other conference. Like the odds are not this high for any other conference. Like plus 3,000 for the 6th best team. That's ridiculous. Plus 50,000 for Indiana too is nuts. That's, I mean, I might throw $10 on that just cause.
Yeah, honestly, dude, 50,000. That's nuts. Illinois, without Chase Brown this year and without their corner, what's his name?
They have the QB though. He's kind of nice.
Oh, he stinks. The kid from Syracuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I missed me on him. Spoony, corner was nasty. Devon Witherspoon.
He's gone.
Chase Brown's gone. I like Bill Maher, all right, but 6.5 win total is probably about right. If they win 7 games, it's probably good. There's a couple on here that just make me sad. Like Michigan State, Mel Tucker, he was at the top. Like it looked like he was on trajectory to bring them back. Now their win total is set at 5.5. That makes me sad. Mel Tucker might be back on Kirby's staff before long.
Don't hate that though, I will say.
Yeah, I love Mel Tucker. He's a great recruiter, great guy, but just the fact that he hadn't been able to get their defense going is weird to me. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Especially in this conference where it's not like you're playing the best offenses in the country, dude. Like, you got Ohio State, which is probably the best offense in the country. But after that, like, that's one game. You should be putting up good numbers against freaking Nebraska and Minnesota.
I mean, Iowa and Illinois played multiple games where
that should be a game where you hold them to 7 points max.
Yeah, Iowa and Illinois played games where 2 touchdowns weren't scored by, like, both teams combined.
My favorite game, my favorite college football game I watched, I can't remember. I think it was last year.
The Iowa-Illinois one where we were watching?
No. The Illinois-Penn State 7 overtime.
That wasn't last year. That was
2 years ago. Yeah. That was awesome. It was disgustingly awesome. It was like watching my 600-pound life, where it's like, this is terrible. You want to throw up, but you also just can't stop watching.
They couldn't get the 2-point conversions, dude. That was insane.
It was nuts. I couldn't believe it. It was one of the worst games ever. There is one bet on this that intrigues me a lot. A lot. Look at Maryland. Maryland's at plus 8,000 to win the conference and over under 7. They return their quarterback. They return Talia.
He's coming
Their
back.
coach brought him off. The coach from he used to be OC at Alabama. What's his name? Loxley.
I think so.
He knows. I mean, he can dial it up. They can score. Over under 7. I'm gonna pull up their schedule real quick.
Maryland. I kind of have some confidence in them now too. Now that you're saying that, Talia,
Dude, I think there's
he's
some
not
value
bad.
there.
He's not bad,
He can spin it, dude.
And dude, he's just gonna get better. He's gonna get older. He's got the talent.
And their schedule is a ramp, dude. It's a ramp. All right, it's one of those where you can just get going and not stop.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's a
But
ramp,
also,
bro.
But also,
Listen, they're going to start 5-0. All right, they have Townsend at home, Charlotte at home, Virginia at home.
Townsend? They play Townsend?
They play the Tigers. Yeah, the freaking college basketball wagon. They go to Michigan State. That's probably a win though. And then home against Indiana. So you start the series. You're through September and you're 5-0, right? Then you go to Ohio State. You're going to lose. All right, you're going to lose that game. But then you have Illinois at home, at Northwestern. So you could be sitting here at 7-1, and you need one more win for this win total, and you still have Rutgers on your schedule. I'm tapping that one. I'm tapping Maryland over 7 wins.
I would too.
And then you have Penn State at home, at Nebraska, home against Michigan. If you told me Maryland won, one of those games, I'm not shocked at all. At all. Are you?
I think I would be shocked to see them beat Michigan.
This is the team that lost to Michigan by 7 last year and to Ohio State by 13. They're not a bad team.
Yeah. They had Ohio State beat for most of that game, honestly.
Yeah. Michigan, they played them as good as they can. So that's probably my favorite bet so far. Purdue is going to be probably terrible. Jeff Brom might be one of the better coaches in the country. He recruited a pretty low level and had them winning 8 games. And then Northwestern and Indiana, just pray for them. Northwestern, as bad as it is, you might want to hit their under.
Why is Northwestern plus 30,000 to win the conference and Indiana plus 50? I want to know. I want to know where that disparity
is. Tom Allen still coaching Indiana?
I have no idea.
How sad is that? That guy was in Griff. They were in the Big Ten championship.
I remember.
It was a shortened season, but they were in the Big Ten championship.
It's Tom Allen. Yeah.
How is he still the coach?
That bum. That freaking moron. I'm thinking about that Illinois game last year where that dude literally caught that pass in the end zone twice, and they somehow ruled it incomplete, and that dude was screaming his head off.
I can't wait for those days again, Griff. I can't wait.
I can't either, dude. I was looking at Week 0 games today.
I've already looked. Indiana. Yeah, that's sad, Indiana. Those last 3 teams make me sad. Northwestern was in the championship, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
They had Ohio State. They had Ohio State shambles.
The COVID season, right?
Yeah.
That was 2020. Yeah.
Indiana was right there too. And now they're just putrid. But that's my favorite. Give me your top. Out of top 3 bets.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Top 3, I'd probably go
in order.
I'd probably go Penn State to win in order. Okay.
Yeah.
In order, I'd go Purdue under 5.5, Northwestern under 3.5, and Penn State to win the conference at plus 600.
Let me look at Nebraska's schedule real quick because 6 intrigues me on them. They're going to have
I think they'll get better this year a little bit.
They're going to have Jeff Sims at quarterback. You remember that?
They're going to have Jeff Sims at – never mind. I'm out. Under.
Understood. I think Jeff Sims is not bad. He just played for Jeff Collins.
G-off.
They play Minnesota first. At Minnesota. That's going to be tough. Then they go to Colorado.
But what does Minnesota have?
Doors off.
No way Tanner Morgan is still there, right?
I'm not sure on that one. Yeah, they're an unknown too. You're right. Ibrahim, he's gone.
Yeah, no,
that was their whole offense.
They have at all. They probably have a decent defense.
Okay, so that's a winnable game.
What's their head
Nebraska
coach?
in
Is
week
the head
0?
coach still there? Same head coach.
PJ
I like
Fleck's
him.
He's a little bit eyewash to me. At Colorado, they're going to blow their doors off. Northeastern
Nebraska at Colorado.
Yeah, Nebraska's going to blow them into next week. Nebraska at home against Northern Illinois, at home against Louisiana Tech. All right, so they could be 4-0 rolling into Michigan at home. They get Michigan at home. They go to Illinois, home against Northwestern, home against Purdue, at Michigan State. This schedule is disgustingly bad.
Well, if you look at anyone on that side,
I can't
freaking
imagine what Georgia would do to this schedule.
No, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh, dude! Listen to the games they end with: Illinois, Northwestern, Purdue, Michigan State, Maryland, Wisconsin, Iowa. Oh my gosh! The only hard game they have is at Wisconsin and then home against Michigan. Other than that, they're going to be way more talented than everybody they play.
This is a weird question. Why are there 13 teams?
Put that on my card. I don't know. That is weird.
It's an uneven number. It doesn't make sense.
All right, my favorite just became Nebraska over 6. This is also coming from a guy who bet them to win that side of the conference last year. And after that first drive against Northwestern in Ireland, I was cashing my check. That was the best drive I've ever seen. That was the best drive I've ever seen. I was like, oh my God, Casey Thompson's going to win the Heisman. Trey Palmer, he's the best receiver in the country. That was the best drive I've ever seen. They're about to take Northwestern to the woodshed, and then they lost the game.
Oh, it's Navy and Notre Dame in Ireland this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a disgusting game. We clearly hate the Europeans. We send some absolutely atrocious football.
What are we going to send them?
My favorite is the NFL games they play.
They're
always the worst 2 NFL teams.
We can't make the good teams go over there for college football. That's too
I got
much.
up at 9 a.m. to watch the Falcons play the Jets over there one time. It was awful.
Notre Dame's 19.5-point favorites in that game. I think I like that with Sam Hartman.
But you hate the troops. So, all right. I like Nebraska over 6. I like Maryland over 7, and you can flip a coin on Penn State or Wisconsin to win the conference. At plus 600, plus 700. That's my best.
Yeah.
I really like Nebraska over 6, and I really like Maryland over 7. I will physically put money on those, I think.
Let me swap out Northwestern under 3.5, just because that's such a lame bet. I don't want to.
Take Indiana instead. You won't do it, you sicko. Indiana under 3.5 wins.
What if I took Indiana over? I'd be real sick.
No, dude, that would be sick. That would be sick.
I'll add.
Poor Mel Tucker, man.
I'll add Illinois over 6.5.
Okay.
Let me back my boy. Let me back my boy there.
Snelly would appreciate that.
Yeah. Shout out Snelly.
All right. Well, that wraps up our show for today. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed those segments. Other than the AJC, that made me sick.
Yeah, that one is just we had to discuss it.
But guys, we appreciate y'all watching on. These are going to get more and more lively as we get closer to the season because we're not going to be able to hold our excitement. But we appreciate it. Please follow us on Twitter. You can help us, try to combat these fan bases that are coming to the dogs right now. And TikTok's popping too. Griff's got it rolling. We need all the help we can get. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment telling us how good we look. And we really appreciate you guys listening. It's been a lot of fun. It's probably been about a year since we started this now, Griff, don't you think? Close to it.
I looked at the date the other day, and it's getting really close to a year since we released it.
It feels like it's been longer than that. And
yeah, it does.
It's been fun. I've enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. Yeah, definitely like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Brooks puts out a lot of good content. We're going to be more consistent. We're not going to miss a week from here on out. It's football season. We've all been busy. Jake's finishing up the bar. When he's done, he'll probably be so excited that he wants to do 3 or 4 shows a week. and we'll be back rolling. But as always, go Dogs. Everybody have a great week. Make some magic happen.